Well, hello, Symmetry Land. Welcome to the Monday Sales Call. This is your host, Sarah Pappas, direct to Tom Chisholm and Danny Young, and I will have my husband, Mike Pappas, join me on the call in a few minutes. We are so excited to be doing this call. There has really never been a better time to be a part of Symmetry Financial Group. This past week, we finished up a series of regional meetings for our fall tour. I personally had the opportunity to attend 6 of them and really work that fourth cornerstone of association. I got to meet with several folks on our team, as well as Symmetry's top key leaders and business owners. So now that the fall tours are over, we are looking forward to our annual leadership meeting on November 8th. That's next Wednesday in Asheville, North Carolina. Talk to your upline for details if you'd like to be there. The topic of this call, it all starts on the phone, couldn't be more timely. This week we start our annual November to Remember competition. It's a friendly competition that's played week by week with our top 120 agents, for first prize being a dream getaway to the destination of your choice. Participants gain points for app counts and direct recruits. So I'm not going to train on how to write more app counts or recruit more people today, but I'm definitely going to show you how to get there. You see, apps aren't written until you are sitting face-to-face with a client. You can't sit face-to-face with a client unless you have an appointment. And you don't have an appointment until you pick up the phone and make your dials. So we're going to talk today about the mindset required for the phones, some of the basics of the best script, and how to overcome literally every objection you will hear on the phone. I hope you're excited. When you look at the trajectory of growth that Symmetry has experienced since 2009, it can seem astounding. $55 million in sales last year with a projected $80 million in sales this year. We've got agency owners who are doing more in business each year than many insurance companies. These numbers look like video game numbers, and I'm here to tell you that every single one of those numbers starts with a phone call. I'll say it this way, 100% of all the money to be made in this business starts on the phones. Nothing happens here until a phone call is made. So let's talk about that. As an agency builder, I would say that I have seen more people fail out of this business because of the phones than any other reason. Why do people quit over the phone? I think there's 4 main reasons. Number 1, it's humbling. If you've been successful in another career before coming to Symmetry, having to or choosing to start over is humbling in and of itself. Dialing the phones is probably the least sexy thing we do here, let alone dial on older leads that may have been worked over by other agents. This is where I often hear new agents get a case of the yeah, but. They say, yeah, but I want the good leads. Or, yeah, but it's taking me too long to set these appointments. Or, yeah, but someone set appointments for me at my last deal, and I've never had to set my own appointments. Or, yeah, but I didn't have to buy my own leads at my last deal. It's humbling to start over at the bottom, but it's where we all start. Casey Watkins says, the road to riches leads straight through the dump. It's a good analogy. And if it's good enough for Casey Watkins, it's good enough for me. The second reason why people fail over the phones is because, plain and simple, dialing produces anxiety. It's the fear of the unknown. This is where most agents get a case of the what if. What if I'm horrible on the phones? What if I don't set any appointments? What if someone yells at me or hangs up on me? These thoughts are related to the third reason people quit on the phones, which is the fear of rejection. This is where we really need to pay attention to our self-talk. It's easy to take the rejection we receive on the phones personally. How do I know this? Because it was a temptation of mine when I first got started. We talk about developing a thick skin when you're dialing. So I actually imagine myself as a turtle every time I make my dial. My hard shell will protect me from any danger. Another visual mantra I use on the phones is, like water off a duck's back. People's words just roll right off of me like water dripping off of a duck's back. The fourth reason why people quit on the phone is simply due to unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations as it pertains to the work that we do and the time involved, as well as the results obtained. So let me explain. For example, we teach folks here how to earn a six-figure income with our system. The production required to produce a six-figure income breaks down to an average of 250 dials per week on average to set about 15 appointments. A healthy dialer should be making about 30 dials per hour. So if you divide 30 dials per hour by 250 dials, that comes out to approximately 8.5 hours of dialing per week. If you're new or if you're dialing on 50-cent leads, be prepared to spend 12 or more hours on the phone. This is important because you've got to build that time into your week. Try not to ever dial more than 48 hours before your run days. It gives people too much time to forget. So work backwards. Schedule your days in the field and then schedule your dial days. Tell your family when you'll be dialing and don't let anything interfere with your work schedule. I promise there will always be an emergency if you let it happen. This is the most important thing that we do. Make sure and schedule enough time to set all the appointments you need. Another unrealistic expectation is often placed on the leads when we think erroneously that every contact we make should result in an appointment. Don't get discouraged if your numbers aren't panning out the way you want them to. This is the law of large numbers, not the law of small numbers. I like to teach people the statistical averages for each type of lead because oftentimes you think you're doing really bad, but you're actually really right on track. Here's a good spot to take notes if you don't know what these averages are. So grab a pen and a piece of paper. I'm going to let you know that when you're dialing on A leads, 8 out of 10 of those leads should result in an appointment. Think about it this way. Even A leads don't result in a 100% conversion. This is exactly why we don't like new agents to train on A leads. Your initial mistakes that you will make shouldn't be on expensive leads. Start on the bonus leads and focus on the second cornerstone, which is massive activity. Write this down. When you're dialing on 5A leads, 1 out of every 4 to 5 contacts should result in an appointment. When you're dialing on 4A leads, 1 out of every 5 to 6 contacts should result in an appointment. When you're dialing on 3As, it's 1 out of 7 people you talk to. When you dial on 2As, 1 out of 10 people you talk to will set the appointment with you. When you're dialing on 1As, that's 1 out of 12. And when you're dialing on 50-cent leads, it's 1 out of 15 people you talk to. When you boil it down to the numbers and simple math, it takes the emotion out of it, and you can make it like a game where you're just going after the numbers. Be sure and track your dials, contacts, and appointments. If you're having trouble setting appointments, your mentor won't be able to coach you without all 3 of these numbers. You might not be making enough dials, or you might be having a problem with your script. So it's imperative that you track your activity. So what's the best way to get over your hang-up and just pick up the phone? I like to think back on my training for the one and only marathon I ever ran, which was several years ago. Marathon coaches teach you that to successfully complete the race, you have to break it down into tiny pieces. They teach you to pick one spot in the distance, pick a tree or a light pole, and run to that. Once you arrive, pick another spot in the distance and run to that. Keep doing that for 26.2 miles and you're there. It's the same principle here. How do you make 250 dials in 1 to 2 dial sessions? One small bit at a time. Make it your goal to knock out your first 10 dials as quickly as possible. Then dial 10 more times. I promise you, once you hit 30 dials, you will be on a roll. You'll have set a few appointments And now you're getting revved up and excited. Keep dialing. Now is not the time to stop and take a break. You've got momentum. Use it to dial until you've reached your goal. And remember, each lead can be dialed on several times before you move on. I do recommend double and triple dialing each number, so you can get approximately 6 to 9 dials out of each lead. A telemarketer would never do that. And we are not telemarketers. If someone ever says to me, "Take me off your list," I know right then and there that they truly have no idea why I'm calling. I usually just take that lead, put it back in my stack, and I'll call them back at a better time, or I'll put them in my drive-by pile. If you're having a hard time keeping your mind right and it's affecting your dials, take a break. Don't blow your leads. Call your mentor. Clear your head for 10 to 15 minutes. Maybe take a walk around the block. Then come back with a fresh mind and make your next 10 dials as quickly as possible. I'm going to tell you the secret sauce to reaching your appointment goal each and every week. This may be the most important part of this call. The secret sauce to reaching your appointment goal is getting fresh leads every week. I don't care if your budget is only $50 a week. I would rather get 100 fresh 50-cent leads into my stack each week than 20 5As in my stack every other week. Fresh leads weekly is the lifeblood of this business. If you wait 3 weeks to order your next batch of leads, you're probably out of business. So let's talk about our script. Symmetry has a script called the BEST script, which is an acronym that stands for Be Busy, Establish Why You're Calling, Set the Appointment, and Tie It Down. I'm going to go briefly through each one. Let's start with Be Busy. I like to use busy language the entire time I'm on the phone. If someone says, "I can't talk right now," I'm going to let them know that it's a good thing because I'm busy too, and I'm going to ask them if they have 30 seconds. I'll do an abbreviated version of the script and go straight into nailing down a time when they'll be home on the days I'm in their area. I like to use they language to help me. People seem to understand they language. I say things like, "They have me taking care of 20 of these requests in your area this week, and they have me in your county on Monday and Tuesday." I let them know that I'm busy seeing other homeowners those days, so we're just looking for a 15-minute window where we can go over these coverage options and see if we even have anything that will help them. The 15-minute window is a better concept than saying something like, "I'm going to need to sit down with you for 15 minutes," or worse yet, "I'm going to need to sit down with you for an hour." Nobody likes to be sat down with. The next letter is E, establish why you're calling. You've got 7 seconds to differentiate yourself between a telemarketer or a salesperson or generally someone they just truly don't want to be on the phone with. You've got 7 seconds. If you're getting a lot of "call me backs" or "I'm busy" or "we're not interested," or you're just generally getting hung up on, you probably need to work on not sounding like a telemarketer. So how do you do this? First of all, talk low and slow. No matter how slow you think you're talking, you probably are still going too fast. The client needs time to let each word sink in. The slower you speak, the more in control you seem. And on the phone, it's all about who's in control. Your tone should be low and slow, almost sound bored, because you're the one that needs to be in control. Always use the client's first name. Say, for example, "Hello, Brian." Let them know you're calling them back. They did ask you to call them after all. I say, "Hello, Brian. This is Sarah Pappas, and I'm actually calling you back." Mention who you are. I like to say I'm a field underwriter or a case manager. Anything but an insurance agent. If they're unsure of what you are calling about, I like to use very direct and clear language that will cut to the heart of the matter immediately and get everyone on track with the purpose of the call. I say, It's about that benefit that would pay off your home if you died, or make a mortgage payment for you if you become sick or injured and cannot work. Speak slowly so they envision what you're saying about what this benefit does. Yes, I use the word die. It's quick and easy, and once they get it into their heads why I'm calling, I can move very quickly back into my script. Again, I simply say, if they're wondering, it's about that benefit that would pay off your home if you died, or make a mortgage payment for you if you become sick or injured and cannot work. Boom. S stands for set the appointment. I like to find out a lot about their work schedule before I squeeze them into my schedule. Did you catch that? Did you see the posture there? I let them know, they have me in your area on Monday and Tuesday, and we'll need to find a 15-minute window for me to go over your coverage options with you and see if we've even got something that would help you. My next question is, what time do you get home from work on Monday? If they say 5 o'clock, I'm going to ask them, do you get off work at 5? Or do you usually get home at 5? What time do you get off work? Do you have any activities or errands you usually run after work, or do you come straight home? Do you keep the same schedule Monday through Friday? I ask the same questions about their spouse. I ask all kinds of questions about their schedule because I like to get to know their weekly rhythm so that if I get tied up in a home and I can't get out there to see them, I have a pretty good idea of when I can fit them back into my schedule. Once we decide on a good time, I'll say, is there any reason you can think of that you and Susie would not be home on Monday night? If they can convince me that they'll be home at a certain time, I'll go straight to the tie down. Always assume the appointment. It's why they filled out the letter and why you're calling. Also, very importantly, don't let them dictate when you come out. It's best to see 5 to 7 people 2 days a week than to see 2 to 3 people 5 days a week. That's exhausting, and it's unproductive. Be in control of your schedule. Your clients will respect you for it. The T is for tie it down. The tie down is where I'm going to ask them to get a pen and a paper and write down some information. I wait until they told me they've got a pen and a paper in their hand. Sometimes I'm waiting for a few minutes, but I always wait. I give them my name, and I ask them to write down mortgage protection next to it. Sometimes I'll give some grace, and I'll let them write MP for short. I'll always give them a window of time, so I'm not saying, I'll see you at 5 p.m. That sets me up for failure, and it potentially could make the client really mad if I show up at 5:30 or 6 o'clock. I'll tell them I've got you down for a 15-minute window between 5 and 6:30 p.m. At this point, you could have them write down whatever you want. I usually give them the heads up that I'll be asking to see their prescription medications and their driver's license and to have those handy. I usually make them write that down as well. There's no better feeling than to get to a home and their driver's license, prescription bottles, and a piece of paper with my information on it is already sitting on the kitchen table. Let them know what kind of car you drive. Have them direct you to their house from the nearest main street. Ask them the color of the house or where the street numbers are located. What you're doing is setting them up psychologically. Psychologically, now they're envisioning you driving into their neighborhood and pulling into their driveway. They're less likely to forget that you're coming. Be sure and get their commitment. That way that they get their commitment that they're going to tell their spouse that you're coming and that you'll be coming by to take care of this. So tying it down like this is so important to avoid those one-legged appointments or no-shows. I probably spend at least half of my time tying it down. When you're new, be sure and fill out the client qualification form completely so that your mentor can help you prepare properly when the time is right. Once you've set an appointment, that's not the time to prepare for it. Move very quickly back to the phone. Make another 10 dials. Keep dialing until you've hit your goal. All right, let's spend the last few minutes today talking about how to handle objections over the phone. What if I told you that there was one magic sentence that will help you overcome every single objection that you'll ever receive? Would you write it down? Okay, get your pen back out. I'll give it to you. If you're ready, write this down. That's exactly why I'm calling. That's exactly why I'm calling. When you say it, that does two things very quickly. Number one, it lets the client know that they've been heard and that their objection has been received. Secondly, it buys you a quick second to figure out what you're going to say next. It's important you handle objections this way because the person who is talking and asking questions is the person who's in control. And you definitely want that person to be you. Handle their objection and then work your way back into the script as quickly as possible. Got Mike Pappas here with me, and we're actually going to use this to role play a few of the most common objections you'll hear. So Mike, go ahead and give me an objection.
We're not interested anymore.
Well, Mike, that's exactly why I'm calling. I don't have any notes here in our system that you've received the information you were looking for about the benefit that would pay off your home if you died, or make a mortgage payment for you if you became sick or injured and couldn't work. I'm the field underwriter who's been assigned to your case and several others that I'll be working on this week. And I'm going to go right back into my script.
How about we already got some coverage?
Well, Mike, that's exactly why I'm calling. They've got me auditing your original request for coverage because there are some new plans out there, many of which can save you thousands over the length of your contract. I'm the field underwriter who has been assigned to your request and several others in your area, and I'm going to go right back into my script.
Nice. We sent that in months ago. Why am I just hearing from you?
Well, Mike, that's exactly why I'm calling. It does look like we have made several attempts to get in touch with you after you requested the information. I'm actually the field underwriter who's been assigned to your case and several others in your area that I'll be working on this week, and I'll just go right back into my script.
Honey, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, Mike, that's exactly why I'm calling. Looks like shortly after you financed your home with Chase Bank for $150,000, you requested the information about the benefit that would pay off your home if you died, or make a mortgage payment for you if you became sick or injured and couldn't work. I'm the field underwriter who has been assigned to your request and several others in the county that I'm working on this week. You indicated here that your date of birth is 8/28/79. Is that correct?
That's good. All right, this is one of my favorites. Can you just send us something?
Well, Mike, that's exactly why I'm calling. I would actually love to do that, but most of our programs do not require a physical exam to get this coverage. They do send me out as a field underwriter to best determine what you qualify for. I'm taking care of several of these in your area and would just need a 15-minute window to go over the coverage options with you and see if we've even got something that would help you. I'm in your area on Monday and Tuesday. What time do you get home from work generally?
Nice. All right. I need to know how much this is going to be before I let you come over to my house.
Well, Mike, that's exactly why I'm calling. I'm what's considered a field underwriter for the Mortgage Protection Group, and I'll be able to shop around and find you the best rates based on what you qualify for. Most families choose a program that's somewhere between $40 and $80 a month, but it really depends on what you qualify for and how much coverage you want. I'm taking care of several homeowners in your area on Monday and Tuesday, and we'll just need a 15-minute window. What time do you usually get home from work?
How about this one? Do both of us have to be here?
Well, Mike, that's exactly why I'm calling. This benefit can cover any person on the deed or mortgage, and they do make me identify you with a photo ID. Would your wife be the beneficiary?
So how about this? I already saw several people, and we're not interested because it's just too expensive.
Well, Mike, that's exactly why I'm calling. The Mortgage Protection Group is a broker, and we can shop around for the best program for your budget. I'm going to be in your area on Monday night helping several homeowners and would need about a 15-minute window to see if we even have anything that would help you. Move right back into my script.
I don't qualify because of my health.
Well, Mike, that's exactly why I'm calling. Unless you're over the age of 85, we have programs for everybody. What exactly is the health issue that you're dealing with?
Okay. I don't have time to talk right now. Can you just call me on Monday?
Well, Mike, that's exactly why I'm calling. I really don't have time to go into this right now either. And I'm going to be in your area helping several homeowners on Monday. When do you normally get home from work on Monday?
Wow. All right. Awesome. One thing that I just want to add, guys, if you notice, Sarah, with all of these objections, so often we can get focused on the micro and want to answer their exact objection, when in reality, the objection is a smokescreen. And what Sarah's doing is pausing, posturing, and then circling back around to the core of, I'm going to come out. And basically, she ignores a lot of it. And people follow. Like, trust me on this. We don't have to answer. When people throw up, smoke screens, we don't have to answer them on those. It's a fear mechanism out there. So fantastic, Sarah.
That's great, Mike. People really, truly will follow you if you give them reason. They want to know that they're following somebody who knows what they're doing. So be in control of the phone. You be the one to ask the questions. Stick to your script. And I don't know about you, but this stuff is really firing me up. So smash it up this week. Go make some dials, and we'll see you next week in Asheville, everyone. Have a great day.